Here we are again today, and the lesson today is about money. Raymond Charles Barker was one of the late great teachers and authors of our philosophy, The Science of Mind, and he describes money as God's idea of circulation and activity in my world. Money is God's idea of circulation and activity in my world. So I want to talk about that idea in the mind of God that we experience circulation and activity as money. And we apply our year-long thing. We have this year-long thing of living everyday wonder, and we apply it to this topic, which often has an emotional charge for us, especially in a spiritual center. And I don't know about you, but I was always taught there were three things you should avoid talking about. What are they? Politics, sex, and money, right? But around here, what we're taught is that whatever we think about and talk about, we want more of. So for that means for me, I'm just going to stop talking about politics. So we'll save sex for another day. But today we're going to talk about money. So to allow God's circulation and activity in the form of money to happen in our life, we must love and appreciate money. Not in a fear-based, hoarding kind of way, but as we love all of God, as we love and appreciate nature itself. Think about that for a second. We've got to release these old beliefs and ideas and stories that have hampered this flow. Money is as spiritual as anything else, and like everything else, it's an effect that has a cause where? In our consciousness. And as I said last week, your consciousness is the law of your life. Your consciousness is what causes all things to unfold in your life as they do in your experience. So many people have been domesticated, as Don Miguel Ruiz would call it in the Four Agreements, domesticated into the belief that money is bad or not spiritual or evil and such things like that. And many of us carry judgment and shame and guilt around the concept of money. And as I said, we're taught not to talk about it. Pretend we don't want it. Even if we do want it, we pretend we don't want it. And if we have lots, we either flaunt it or hide it. And if we have little, we also flaunt it, talking about poverty making us good people or things like that. So there's this really interesting story by Mary Morrissey. She wrote the Prosperity Plus classes, if you've ever been in one of those, and she shares this story how she went to hear Raymond Charles Barker, who was the guy who quoted my first quote, Raymond Charles Barker speak. And this was in the late 1970s, and here's this elegantly dressed man with white hair, and he just was a beautiful dresser. And he pulls out several $100 bills in front of the audience. And he spread them out kind of so everybody could see them. And he said, this is money. And I love money. And then he proceeded to kiss the money. And Mary Morrissey recalls that she was horrified by this, thinking that he wasn't even spiritual, right? Very judgy about it. And then Raymond Charles Barker said, if you had any thoughts of repulsion, or judgment about money, money heard you. Why would money go where it's not loved? Why would you not love the symbol of your freedom? Now, he said, imagine if I had a little boy up here and I held him up and I said, this is my grandson, and I love my grandson, and I proceeded to kiss on him. If you thought any differently about me loving money and me loving my grandson, you were programmed that it's not okay to love money. Ouch. I had to think about that. I think Mary Morrissey had to think about that too. I was definitely taught that it was not okay to love money. And I was domesticated about money in a lot of interesting ways and limiting ways that we talked about last week, right? But if we're very honest with ourselves, there are two things that we all want a deeper and richer experience of love and money. So let me talk a little bit about love. So in reading for Essential Ernest Holmes, which is the class a lot of us are in the middle of, there was quite a bit of Ernest Holmes' thoughts about love this week. And I want to share the quote that I picked out of the book as my favorite quote of the week. It said, "Everyone must love and be loved, or he won't be fulfilled or happy. It is believed that love looses the greatest energy in the universe, the greatest spiritual energy. And without love, there's a certain part of life that does not come to fulfillment. This is real, it is dynamic, it isn't just a sweet sentimentality. Love is powerful." So it makes sense that we have this inherent desire for love, because love is the energy that causes everything else in our lives to be in existence. We all want love and money, or more accurately, we want love and prosperity of all kinds. Now, Brittany's reading kind of spelled that out a little bit more. And I want to be clear, I'm not backing away from the word money when I change it to prosperity. What I'm doing is adding more good to the idea by using the word prosperity, because money is just one form of wealth. Her reading talked about that wealth also shows up as fulfilling relationships that support us beautifully. It shows up as affection and physical nurturing. It shows up as creative ideas that take us in a new direction in our lives. It shows up as a vibrant heart. It shows up as opportunities to do things that we want to do, and so many more things. All of these things are your prosperity. So if you're only using your bank account to measure your wealth, you're kind of shortchanging spirit, and it's all the different ways it uses to support your life. The basic truth is universal energy is infinitely abundant. The energy of life shows up in every form, in every relationship, in everything. And what we know in our own minds and hearts to be available and accessible to us as an individual is what we can experience. We declare what we consider to be our good. And we talked about that in Sacred Cup this morning. Emma Curtis Hopkins is the person that we can blame for the word good all over everything. Good. We consider different things to be our good, and it flows to us, and it flows in the depth that we believe we deserve. So my encouragement to you today is to cast your net as wide as possible and understand that you are inherently deserving. But the bottom line is, I'm going to go back, what we all want more of is what? Love and money. And my lesson, y'all didn't say that very enthusiastically. Love and money. What do we all want more of? Love and money. Now look at your neighbor and say, I want more love and money.
I want more love and money.
Right. The bottom line, right? And I want to talk today is how do we link those things together metaphysically. We talk that we're a metaphysical teaching because we look at things from a higher perspective. So one of our purposes of being human, of zipping into our magic suit when we come here, is to be in relationships. It is in relationships with others that everything in our life is built. We are in a web of relationships from the day we're born until the day we die. We are at the center of our own web, and we pulse energy out onto that web every moment of every day. We pulse energy out onto the web of life in the conversations that we have with these other people. We pulse energy out with every thought we have about other people. We pulse energy out through every action we take, and the quality of our pulse of energy out is the emotion behind our words, our thoughts, and our actions. And it is through that web that we pulse energy out on that every good thing in our life comes back to us. Now, we may pulse energy out in this direction, but the web is so fabulous, the pulse can come back in a completely different direction from completely different people in different ways. And if we're sending out loving, collaborative, cooperative, generous, and kind impulses, that is what will come rushing back to us. We flow out, we flow in. But if we are sending out in our pulsing out into the web of life resentment, judgment, criticism, sarcasm, fear of any kind, those are the kinds of energy pulses that will come back to us. That's the truth of life. Another thing I want to teach you is that love is the healthiest and primary glue that we can use to hold our relationships together. But guess what? Money is the secondary glue in relationships. Money follows love into relationships and situations. Think about it. Whenever you are in any relationships, two elements are foundational in the relationship: love and money. And if you're withholding either, you're withholding both. Because whatever we learned about love as a child, we often transfer those beliefs to money. Think about that. Is that true for you? Is there a correlation to the amount of love free-flowing in your life and the amount of money free-flowing in your life? Think about that. So often, we have a storehouse of unexpressed love inside of us, and some of us have a storehouse of unexpressed bounty inside of us, unrealized resources. And what I think happens, let me see if this is true for you. What I think happens is that somewhere along the way, so many of us have experiences that cause us to pinch off the flow of energy in our lives. For some of us, that pinching off is about love, and for some of us, that pinching off is about the flow of money. Some do both, and all of that pinching off is about fear. And here is what happens. We're going along hody-hody-ho in our life, just kind of like everybody else, in the flow of life and love and happiness and everything, and something changes. We get hurt or disappointed, we get rejected or brokenhearted about something that happens in our lives. And sometimes something traumatic occurs in our experiences, and our level of trust bottoms out. It disappears. The floor kind of drops out from beneath us. Maybe we get fired from a job, or maybe we have a loss of a significant relationship, or we have our trust shattered. That something can be different for everyone. But when that something happens, we shut down and we make a decision to withdraw into some idea we have of inner safety. We stop flowing out energy into our world. Often we stop sharing our ideas, or we stop sharing our hearts. We stop living fully and openly. We stop inviting others into our homes and lives, or extremely limiting them. And when we do that, our good stops flowing too. We aren't pulsing much out on the web of life, and the effect of that is that good and great things stop flowing toward us too. So coming to understand that we are blocking our own flow is so important, because when we realize we're doing that, we can choose to do the work to change that. It doesn't happen like that. It happens over a time of healing, therapy, support groups, community. Relationships are healing because relationship gets the love flowing in your life again. And there are two practices that can work together to open up the channels of flow in your life. Now, we talk about them all the time around here, but guess what? I'm going to tell you one more time. These two practices are forgiveness and gratitude. Forgiveness is about accepting whatever that something was that happened back then. The past is what it was. Even the very hard stuff that we went through that may have caused us to shut down. It means looking back and realizing even in the midst of all of that, Spirit was there too. Your good was continuing to unfold, and all that has happened in your life brought you to this moment perfectly, and you are never defined nor limited by anything in the past. That is forgiveness, and it may not be easy, but it is necessary if you want more love and money. Forgiveness is not about the other person or about saying that whatever happened was okay. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is about opening up your heart again and learning to trust the universe is a good, benevolent place again that's here for you. That opening up changes the very vibration of your life. Bottom line is, forgiveness allows you to see that your good, whatever your good is, was present every day of your life prior to this one. Your good was present in the past. That's what forgiveness does. Gratitude is accepting that your good is in this day right now, and whatever you recognize is in this day right now and you're grateful for, you are projecting that into the future. You're projecting your goodness into the future by saying, this is good right now. The Bible says, in all things give thanks. It doesn't say in some things give thanks. It doesn't say in only the good things give thanks. It says in all things give thanks. Eric Butterworth reminds us that gratitude isn't for God. God doesn't care if you're grateful. Gratitude is for you, and it causes more good to flow. So these two continuous practices, forgiveness and gratitude, put you squarely in the flow of love and money energy that moves through your life constantly. The past flows into this day, and this day flows into the future. Releasing the past and anticipating the future with joy is the only way to be present enough to consciously allow flow of love and money in your life right now. Non-forgiveness, holding a grudge, blocks the flow from the past from getting into today. And not recognizing the flow that's happening right now and being grateful for it blocks the flow into the future. So our universal lesson is learning how to balance love and money energy as it flows through in the relationships of all kinds in our lives. We've got to balance the flow out from us and welcome that reciprocal flow back into us. I love Brittany's quote that we don't have a money problem, we have a receiving problem because we've got ourselves walled off. So let me be clear. Love is energy, and money is a symbol of that energy. Remember last week I called it appreciation. Appreciation and love are synonymous. What I love, I appreciate, and what I appreciate, I love, right? When I flow appreciation or love into a relationship, the symbols of that flow too. Where love flows, money goes. That's your quote for the day. Where love flows, money goes. The overall purpose of money is to express love and appreciation. Money is the symbol we use on the physical plane to show our love and appreciation to things, and more importantly, to people, the people behind the things. Therefore, money is a spiritual essence, and we must learn to use it properly and have the correct relationship with it, just as we must learn how to love and have the correct relationship with love. And I want you to think about this. Whenever the love drains out of a relationship, that you are choosing to continue, money will step in as the secondary glue that will hold you in that relationship. And there are some easy examples to illustrate this point. Think about a job you used to love, but the money keeps you stuck there. Think about a divorce where the love is gone, but there's still that financial component that keeps you connected to that person until the relationship is complete. Or how siblings will argue over an inheritance when the parental love that was the glue in the family dies, and money is all that's holding that group of siblings together. The money glue holds people together when the love is no longer there. Therefore, it is very, very important to be highly aware of what you are doing and who is around you, and know when love is not motivating your actions, something has to change. It's important to love whatever you're doing, whoever you're serving in your life, because where there is more love, there will be more money available, as well as all the other different kinds of wealth that I mentioned earlier. Where love flows, money goes. Money follows love into everything. And let's remember one more critical thing. Self-love is critical in the equation, because in order to open ourselves up to a greater flow of love and money in our life, it has to start with love of self. Our self-esteem and our self-image is either attracting or repelling love energy and therefore money into our experience. Remember that self-protective wall we live behind. It's unworthiness. Oh, I made too many mistakes to be worthy of everything good. We're super critical of our own humanness. We doubt our own intelligence and our own capabilities and our own value and our own worth. And this self-doubt creates a barrier between us and other people. That self-doubt blocks love, and therefore it blocks money. And sometimes it all comes down to our perspective. Are we seeing things in a pessimistic and negative way? Or can we see a possible positive outcome and an optimistic way of looking at things? Because positive emotions open you up to seeing more possibilities and receiving more ideas. And seeing your own life and choices and experience from a positive perspective puts you more into the flow of the good all around you, love and money. But sometimes we feel sad and frustrated and angry, hurt, heartbroken, ashamed, guilty, all those words, and so many other those low vibrations. And when we're feeling those things, we often do not feel like we deserve the love and money of life's bountiful blessings. And I found a beautiful poem by Matt Kahn that speaks to this very thing. It's called "Whatever Arises, Love That." And this is an excerpt from it. It's not all of it. It says, "Whatever arises, love that." Listen to this. When I'm sad, I deserve more love, not less. When I'm angry, I deserve more love, not less. When I'm frustrated, I deserve more love, not less. Whenever I'm hurt, heartbroken, ashamed, or feeling guilty, I deserve more love, not less. Even when I'm embarrassed by my actions, I deserve more love, not less. Equally so, when I'm proud of myself, I deserve more love, not less. No matter how I feel, I deserve more love, not less. Despite what I think, I deserve more love, not less. No matter the past I've survived, I deserve more love, not less. On my worst day, I deserve more love, not less. Even when life seems cruel and confusing, I deserve more love, not less. When no one is here to give me what I need, I deserve more love, not less. In remembering the greatest way I can serve the world, I deserve more love, not less. No matter what I'm able to accept, whomever I cannot forgive, or whatever I'm unable to love for whatever reason, I deserve more love, not less. For so many of us today, the lesson is about deservedness. Most of us had the experience of having love withheld when we were not perfect. We had love withheld when we behaved in ways that displeased others. When we disappointed someone, we experienced love being withdrawn. We experienced rejection and love was withheld. We learned that perhaps we did not deserve love. And remember, we transfer our false beliefs about love to money. So because we are not perfect, because we sometimes displease others, because we can disappoint people, we expect money to be withheld because we have the common experience of having love withheld. The truth is, no matter what, you deserve more love and money, not less. Spirit does not withhold good from you or from anyone else. It flows all of itself through your life. And you can open up and accept all of it by opening up and giving all of yourself to the universe on that web of life. As we free ourselves from our old beliefs and the emotional conflicts that surround money in our culture and in our families, we experience a healthy relationship with money. It flows in, we keep some, and we release it with ease, knowing that money is always in circulation because love is always in circulation. And next week, we're going to open up and explore that topic in more depth, giving and receiving. There is a spiritual truth in all of it, and applying that truth in your life can change everything. Where love goes, money flows. So let your love and money flow to yourself and to the world. Will you join me in a prayer? Here is what I know. What I know is that God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, the universal energy of life is love. And that love flows in my world, and it flows in every single person's world that hears this prayer right now. This power is love, and it does not withhold itself from anyone, not me and not anyone else. And I'm thankful for this truth. I accept this truth as my life. I accept love in my life and all the symbols of it, including money. I am thankful, I am thankful, I am thankful. And so it is.
So it is.